I want to introduce our first guest. Our first guest is a friend of mine. He is a legend in his industry. He is one of the biggest, baddest, amazing people that I know. He's become a friend of mine, someone that I look to for guidance, someone that I look and sit and say, he's just an amazing individual. And he's someone who actually has shifted the course of so many lives. And I want to introduce my dear friend, Senior National Sales Director, Joseph Ward. Joe, are you there, my man?
I am, buddy.
How are you, buddy?
I'm excellent. I'm trying to register for the event you're calling on.
Joe, we may have to have a seat for you. Hold on. Someone save a seat for Joe.
Please do.
How are you, my friend?
I am excellent. So excited to share in this experience with you and excited about the content and the information that you're sharing on such an incredibly important topic.
Well, thanks, man. I know that you know, when we first met, we talked about money, we talked about people and their consciousness of money. That's kind of how you and I kind of connected in our space. We were talking about, you know, people's headspace around money and that. And you had some tremendous growth. And if you're willing to share kind of what happened in our work together as we worked, and I'll ask you some of the questions that I have out here, but you and I started working together and kind of what happened in your world.
Well, yeah, when we first met, I've been in financial services for like 27 years now. And when we first met, I was doing well with our company. We were making a couple of $100,000, and it was my desire. It was an ambition to get over $1 million. And so, you know, we started working together, and you really helped me to, and this was individual coaching as well as a couple of your actual seminars. And you started to help me with basically limiting the beliefs. Though we were doing well, there were a lot of things, you know, traumas, things, you know, guilt and shame that we were dealing with, but in more directly with the subject of money. I was in a position, maybe some people could kind of understand, where I was making a lot of money, but it seemed like as quickly as I was making it, I was creating situations to lose the money. And so you helped me work with that one-on-one, is the way I looked at it, the way I approached it, what was going through my mind, to understand that I was part of the problem. And so, you know, that really took me where I needed to go. And so, about less than 12 months later, we did get over $1 million with our company, and been able to maintain that and grow that. Based on our relationship and the information and knowledge you provided over the years.
I love it. And it's true, right? You hit it. Here's the thing that people don't get about money. It's like, once you break through that invisible ceiling, you just keep going, right? But then there's another invisible ceiling that will show up. Everyone has it. It's not that you don't have, but once you learn the tools of how to break through that first ceiling, you can do it again, and you can break it again, and you continue to do that process, which you've done. And I do want to say, Joe, like, your Texas accent is really coming on thick.
Oh, stop.
It's really coming on thick. So I wanted to ask you 6 questions. I'm going to ask everyone these 6 questions around money and kind of what your thoughts are, because I'd love to hear how you think about money, and it'll help people here that understand that. So let me ask you this. What does wealth mean to you?
There's a difference between wealth and riches. Mm-hmm. And I think people really need to differentiate between that. We in our space talk about that like financial independence, right? Yeah. And I think what it comes down to is choices change. And I don't think there's a destination or a dollar amount. Wealth has to do with how would you want your life created? What does that look like? And then how much money does that take? You know, one person may say $2-3 million is wealth for them, where another person may say 20 or 30 million. It has nothing, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with a dollar amount. It has to do with whether or not you were able to achieve the lifestyle and the experience for yourself, your loved ones, the overall world in general. And I think that's another part of it. People that have riches or financial independence don't have the opportunity to do the level of benevolence that someone with wealth has. So these are the things, is how impactful can you be, first of all, to your own household, and then the overall community, the overall country, causes, beliefs, spiritual, whatever that may be, you have more than enough money to do those things. And I think that's kind of a closer definition of wealth for me.
I love that. I agree with it 100%. I love the individualization in it. So let me ask you this. How did you develop your relationship with money?
By gaining and losing it and gaining it again.
How many people can relate to that statement? By gaining it and losing it and losing it and gaining it again, right?
Right. And you know what? The thing that kind of helped me, Dr. Trivedi, is I had to get to a point to get past thinking of money as an inanimate object for the purchasing of things in life and get more of a money consciousness, right? One of the things you helped me with was getting me to understand truly there is no shortage of money and there is no real difficulty in obtaining it. It is our limiting beliefs. It is our thought process behind it that puts up those barriers. And so I just had to learn that over time, and that the creation of money and wealth really has more to do with the manifestation that goes on in my mind more than the actuality of things I gotta do. We spend a lot of time on what I have to do to get money and not enough time on how our brain works that's either getting us closer to it or further away from it. So I would say in my life, I just had to learn, it is one of the things I teach sometimes as it pertains to money is money wants to be cared for, yep. Right? Meaning I talk about how money needs an assignment, right? So it isn't, and I love what you said early on. It isn't like, oh, I need money for retirement. Nah, you're not going to get rich thinking like that. You are so 100% correct. I need money for certain assignments. Money must have a task. Unassigned money doesn't do well. And you helped me with this. There was no purpose for the money. So you say, I want to make $500,000. Okay, let's say you got it right now. Yep. What's it for? And if you can't answer that, that money's not coming. So that's a long answer, but that's kind of where I would be on that.
You know, it's funny, Joe, when you're saying that statement, I remember exactly where I was, and I remember exactly asking you that question. Exactly what would you do with that money? You're like, oh, I want to do $1 million. I said, what would you do with it? Well, and there was no answer. I'm like, well, why would the universe give you money if you don't know what you're going to do with it? Right? And I remember that exact question. I remember where I was in the whole 9 yards inside. So thank you for that. Absolutely great. Let me ask you this. Now, we haven't worked intimately together closely in that capacity. You don't need me in that capacity. You're doing well. You're doing great with your finances and other capacities. But how do you maintain your relationship with money on a day-to-day basis?
I do the things like I'm going to be the first one to read your book. Mm-hmm. A lot of people ordered the book, but I'm going to read your book because I understand that there are processes. See, I'm always trying to, and my wife and I are the same way. We're always study. If I want to get better at something, I've got to study it. I've got to research it. I've got to put practices in place because your book is going to be great because I have no question about that because I know the knowledge that you have and more importantly, the experience, right, with it. But when people read the book, they're going to be, like you said, we would do the exact same things one-on-one. There's something you got to go work on. And it was a bunch of stuff to work on. And it would be like, okay, I need you to write all these, you'll send us 1,000 questions and answer all these questions and whatnot. Well, they're going to be, I already know, I haven't seen the book, no, but there are going to be processes in there for people to do. So we still do those things, right? Every time we can get our hands on something that's going to increase our consciousness. Not everything is good. I agree with you. So you take the good, you're done with the bad. Some things are confirmation things, but I'm always trying to do that. And another thing is making sure I'm staying in forums, groups, studies, workshops like you put on that are going to continue to increase my consciousness, because what we don't work on and nurture will eventually go backwards regardless. You say, I already know this. Yeah, but, right? if you're not, like you say, I know how to ride a bike. Well, when's the last time you rode one? 20 years ago. This is going to be a bad experience when you jump on there for the first time after 20 years. So you want to keep up with the process, and we try to do that.
I love that. It's absolutely true. I love every statement to that. And you're right. Whatever you don't maintain and grow, it goes back the other direction. It's completely true. And I love that you're right. There's processes after process after processes, right? And you're right. And you've worked with me one-on-one, and not everyone can have that opportunity. Not everyone can afford me one-on-one. I get it. I understand that. But that's why this book is designed the way it is. And that's why I've structured the event, the seminar, the tools, because I really believe this. I really believe that I'm trying to give people a fighting chance at their health, their wealth, and their relationships, because there's so much misinformation out there on this. People will tell you, just be positive, just be positive, just be positive. It leads to depression and chaos. That's not going to make you wealthy. Positive thinking will not make you rich. It will make you broke. I promise you 100% of the time. It'll make you broke. Negative thinking, critical thinking will make you wealthy. But positive thinking, which is preached to a lot of people, will end up keeping you broke. It's important to use objective measures to be able to measure this and grow this. Joe, one final question for you, then and I'll let you run, because you're just amazing. And everyone should follow Joe Ward. Joe, what can I get in touch with you?
My Instagram is Joe Ward PFS 84. Joe Ward PFS 84.
84 is a big number in this world. If you ever get to know him, he'll tell you all about it. Who were your biggest mentors when it came to money over the course of your lifetime?
Oh boy, that's good. You yourself, definitely. We have had, we've had a couple of mentors in our business that are multimillionaires within our business, right? But again, and people would say, you mentioned Bob Proctor. Oh my God, I believe his work was called How to Be Rich or Born to Be Rich.
The Science of Getting Rich.
The Science of Getting Rich.
And he did write a book, Born to Be Rich as well.
I'm talking about that one. Yeah. I mean, Anthony Robbins. Yeah. I mean, there have been people, like, I'm a student, right? And I would encourage people to be students with your own work, with other people's work, right? So, we've had people, but I think one thing is crucial in evaluating mentors is, if I'm not gonna have a money mentor that ain't got no money. And I also believe that it is more impactful to have a mentor that has, most entrepreneurs don't have this to success, right? It's going to be this roller coaster, which you talked about. I'm impressed with that person, because sometimes you'll have a person talking to you about wealth and they didn't generate the wealth. They inherited the wealth, or they inherited the business, not like you and I, who had to do it, like you had your chiropractor business and you grew that into in such a conglomerate. And then you went into this space, like brand new, different, and became successful there. I'm looking for mentors that actually did it, not just talked about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Ward. Joseph Ward, there it is. Joe, thank you so much, my friend.
Love you,
appreciate it. Give my love to Militia as well, bro.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate you.